My head. Good afternoon, everybody. Marketing Moms here. Marketing Moms Trinidad, live from Trinidad. This is Bernadette Chinley and Hilary De Freitas. And
today we are going to show you how to build yourself into profitability. Even if you're a small business, even if you're doing it all by yourself, you can be in profit if you have the mindset that's going to get you into action, into the right action that creates habits, and therefore you become profitable. And this can happen starting today. And we're going to do that based on the books and the writings of Compound Effect by Darren Hardy and Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Hilary read Greg McKeown, and I read Darren Hardy's book Compound Effect. And this is a perfect example of you going into a bookstore and going after, let's say you want to explore how do I, what combination of foods do I eat in order to lose weight? And you go into the bookstore and you are faced with like 50 books from different authors. And the big question is like, oh my gosh, which one do I read? Where do I start? Right? Now, many authors actually contradict each other. And I want to tell you that it is good and bad in that sense, because by Hilary reading Greg McKeown and me reading Darren Hardy, what we're actually showing you is that it really doesn't matter which author you start with. What is important is that you read several authors on the same topic and then come up with a combination of habits that is going to get you to where you want to be. And don't blame the author for your non-success. Don't blame the weather for your non-success. Blame you because you have not put it together. Correct, Hilary?
yes, that is actually very correct, because a lot of people, you hear it all the time. Self-help books, weight loss books, they pick it up, they read it, and it didn't help them. And then when you ask them, so what did you do? Nothing. So then how do you expect to get results? Okay. So, and a lot of these books, and what is great about these two books is that, yes, they tell you what, but they also give you practical tips as to how to put these things into effect in your life. Because a book that doesn't show you, well, not show you, but gives you
give you worksheets,
give you work. Basically, if they don't give you work, then it's just theory, and then you now have to do a little more work, which is not a bad thing. If you're an entrepreneur, it's not a bad thing, because you have to learn how to be resourceful. But you want a little bit of guidance as, okay, what do I physically do now? All right. And that's what we're going to share today. And these are very precise tips that are going to help you create time in your business so that you can get into profitability in your business.
Well, I'm glad you brought up that point, Hilary, because I'm just so excited to also put in that for 2 seconds that is why we're doing our social media marketing workshop, is because we're taking it from theory, okay, from what people say, this is the concept, to putting it into action for you, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Yes. Today we're going to focus on habits, all right? Hilary, you have anything that you want to start off with?
Well, one thing, and it's actually, and what I love about these, just not to digress too much, but these are habits that don't only apply to your business, they apply to your life as well. All right. So one, in the execution section of Greg McKeown's book, Essentialism, he talks about when whatever project you're working on, when it comes to time, be realistic with your time and always create buffers. And as I was sharing with Bernie, that, how I apply this to my life specifically is that sometimes, you have to go to pick up the kids, or you're going somewhere to get something done, and you say, okay, I could get there in 10 minutes. and you know in the back of your head it takes you 15 minutes with no traffic, not catching any traffic lights, but somehow you believe you could do it in 10, right? And with any task that you're doing, what Greg McCowen says is always add the buffer, because what it does is it keeps you in a state of calm and peace so that you can actually focus on what it is that you're doing. All right. So your work, if today is the day for you to do your accounts, I know taxes is about coming up, right? April 30th for Trinidadians, April 15th for Americans. But you know, if you had to sit down and do your taxes and you were saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours to do this, and you know last year it took you 4 hours to do it, what Greg McCowen is saying is to make life easy for you on that day in your business, put aside 5 hours, add the buffer so that you're not stressed out when 3 hours later you still haven't finished the taxes and you know you have to go and do a delivery for this company and all of those things, right? So when it comes to planning and preparation, always add that buffer.
And how would you apply it in your business? Because in your business, it actually, it sounds like it's the opposite though. Because you have to kind of do more action in order to get the result that you want.
Well, it depends on what the task is, and that's the difference. So if you are, for example, if you're a network marketer and your goal is to reach 10 people today, you have to add more on top of that. You have to actually do more to get the goal of reaching. So if your goal is to speak with 10 people, whether by phone call or meeting them out on the street, having a conversation with them, you're going to have to do 10. You're going to have to call 20, right? Or speak to 20 people, speak to more than 20 people, or meet more than 20 people for you to be able to have that value conversation that you want with 10 of them. All right. So it does depend on the type of business, but yes, you're right. You have to do more in order to hit the goal. So that the buffer is actually putting
do more of the action.
More of the action. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Correct. And with regards to Darren Hardy, in terms of with that concept, Darren Hardy talks about people have these magnanimous goals. They want to be healthy, they want to be fit. I actually spoke to somebody today on Facebook, and she has like 5 videos all on doing crunches and sit-ups and doing weightlifting and so forth. And I asked her a simple question. I said, well, are you a fitness fanatic? And she's like, I'd love to be. So that kind of tells me. And then I kept talking to her, and you're hearing in her words, it's, how you call it, it's a bunch of excuses, a bunch of reasons why she hasn't done what she needs to get done. All right. And that is the reason why people end up there, Hillary. Reason why people end up there is because they have this huge magnanimous goal out there, but they haven't sat down, as Darren Hardy puts it. You need to get into small steps that you repeat every day. Okay, because he gave the example in his book about, well, this is the one example that stuck with me because it makes so much sense. Okay, it's like this girl, she's a little on the overweight side, and like everybody, tried so many diets, failed, tried exercising, start 2 days and failed for 2 months. And he says, you know what, let's just walk, instead of taking the bus to the subway, walk to the subway. Yeah,
that
right?
makes sense.
So like, for instance, for me, it would be, instead of when you go up the stairs, do it 3 times. Just do it 3 times to get upstairs. So you give yourself an extra minute of going up the stairs. And then he says, okay, after you do that and you get accustomed to walking to the thing, you're not panting and puffing and out of breath and so forth. So you go the next step. and you walk the block. So you do the walk the block for a week, and then the following week you do 2 blocks, and then the following week you do 3 blocks. And actually what's going to happen is that the time does not multiply, the time actually reduces. So whereas you used to take, let's say 7 minutes to make 1 block, you might actually make 3 blocks in 10 minutes.
Right.
You know? So therefore it becomes doable because you're actually getting better, you're getting faster. And so therefore, and then when you take that action into your business, it's called, instead of saying, I want to be successful. It's like, okay, great, you want to be successful. So what are you going to do about it? You know? So you have to put steps into it. Okay?
Yeah.
You have to say, okay, this is my year and I'm going to be successful in this year. And I know, what's his name? Ray Higdon talks about it a lot. If you want to speak on stage, you got to start speaking now. Okay? So our little mini stage, right, Hillary, is right here. Okay?
Right here.
Our
Exactly.
webinar that we do every Monday, and it's a perfect example because Hillary hates video, and because I have forced her into this interaction, she doesn't have to think about herself anymore. She's just busy answering my questions and talking to me. All right? And that's how, that's a big hint, that's how you can start on YouTube. Okay? Get an awesome partner and talk to each other. Anyway, so you want to get on stage and you want to be able to speak. So you break it down into, okay, so therefore I need, by month 6, I need to be doing 5 videos every week. And by month 3, I need to be doing 3 videos every week. And this week, I'm going to start with 1 video every week. Okay? And so therefore, you work yourself up into repeating a habit, and then you're going to just be on stage, and you're just going to be absolutely fluent. Now, of course, it takes a little bit more because you need to read this and read that and practice and, you know, learn to ask yourself questions. And you also need to learn to keep yourself on target.
Right? As well. Exactly.
Keep yourself on target, because if you tell people my speech is going to be about creating habits so that you could get into profitability, and then we end up talking about shoes, well, you know, nobody's going to listen to us anymore, right, Hillary?
Exactly.
Exactly. So you got to keep that focus, because that's what Darren Hardy constantly talks about in Compound Effect. You got to keep that focus in front of you. Stick it up on your mirror in your bathroom. Stick it up in your. I'm actually working on a sign right now. See it?
Accountability.
Accountability. And so what happened is that instead of me sitting down for a whole hour doing this sign, I actually said, okay, I'm going to do 2 letters every night, okay? And I'm going to get my sign done. Because I've been trying to do my sign for the last, 6 months? And I say, I have to make up my signs. I have to put my words up for me, you know, like, so you keep putting it off, you know? Yes. So there's another big bonus for you. Do break up your, whatever it is, task that you want to do. Break up the tasks that you want to get done. Break it up into small, itty bitty bits that you do every day.
Yes.
Right?
And then you talked about something there that it kind of reminded me of when if you have obstacles, and actually it kind of flashed me back to my engineering days, where when it came to creating time and being more productive, we would look at what the problems were, and rather than putting a patch on it, we'd fix it or remove it. Right? So if it wasn't something that was crucial to the process, right, of us getting whatever job done, you remove it. But if it's a major problem, you fix it instead of doing quick fixes. And I think for a lot of small businesses, they sometimes, are those birds?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I have mango trees, right? So the birds are on the mango trees eating the mangoes.
And what is interesting is that Greg McQueen talks about that as well, which, I mean, I saw it as a manufacturing process. You know, when you have a problem, you fix it. A lot of businesses don't fix the problem. They put a Band-Aid on it. And then what that does is
It shows up later.
It shows up later,
Creates
then you have
a
a bigger
problem.
problem and you have to spend more time fixing it. So when you
Yeah.
come face to face with any challenges or obstacles, identify what it is. Is it a symptom or is it a major problem? If it's a symptom, literally you could go around it, right? Because it's not hampering you getting what you need to get done. But if it is going to stop you from making progress, fix it and get it out of the way. It's like a boulder, you know. It's like if a
Yes.
boulder comes out like the avalanche, I mean,
Yes.
sorry about that happening, but you know, if a rock came down, you could either walk around it or you have to remove it, basically.
Correct. And if the boulder is too big, then you have to sit down. Okay, well,
And chip
um,
away at it.
well, yeah, but you also, I mean, my point I'm getting at here is in your analogy of the boulder.
Mm.
If the boulder is too huge for you, my solution would be get into a mastermind.
Right, because you're
You
not on
need
that
to
mountain by
rely
yourself.
You
Yeah,
need to rely on other people
other
to help you
people.
solve your problem, which
Exactly.
is why Hillary and I belong to a mastermind.
Yeah.
Awesome mastermind.
Yes.
So the thing about it is that you have your goal, all right, and you need to not write down. Well, maybe you could write down 5,000 different things that you need to do to get to that goal. But if you focus on all 5,000 today, it's not going to happen. Maybe you need to write down the 5,000 tasks that you need to get done, but you need to focus on a dozen. You need to focus on 12. Okay? Focus on that 12, get that 12 done, get really good at it, get into profitability using that 12 action habits that you're going to start with. And so therefore you really need to pick and choose what those 12 action habits that you're going to start with. All right. And so therefore, and map out your progress. Okay. So you've taken your whole year and you divide it up into these small actionable steps to get to your 12-year goal, 12-month goal. And then you need to map out your progress. You need to say, okay, did I hit this goal? What came into the problem? Why did I not reach the goal? Was the goal too high? Should I add this on? Do I really need this now? That kind of stuff. But the thing is, you need to keep yourself happy with your progress. You need to write the progress down, and then you need to figure out, okay, what new disciplines, or ask yourself the question, what do I need to do in order to get this better? Because when you're actually in the action, as Hillary says, if something shows up, you need to ask yourself the question: is it a symptom? Is it a cause? Is it a something that I can ignore? And with those questions, you're actually going to be able to say, okay, I need to add this. Like for instance, let's say somebody wants to start off on social media and they decide that they're going to start with a website. And if they decide to start with a website, they're going to end up with a whole bunch of problems, okay? Because they're spending money on the website and like, how am I going to get people to my website? Is my website working? Etc., 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 etc. Versus if you start on social media to sell your product, okay, then you're actually getting into the habit of getting people to go and do something that you want them to do. And when you get them to do that, then you're able to say, okay, if I invest in a website now, my website is going to pay for itself in 2 months, 3 months, instead of 5 years later, you know? So it all depends on where you start. And that is the main reason why you need to, one, do your research, and two, you need to stay connected to people like Hillary and myself.
One thing that I would like to add to that is that although when you're going through and you're making your progress, to save yourself any stress and a lot of time, don't dwell too much on what has already been done. Look at it as something that's an objective task. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? And move on. Because you need to be focused on what you're doing now to make it better now. Because whatever was done is done. You can't change it. You can't do anything about it. And the future isn't here, right?
So don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, right? So although there is a measure of you have to look back in order to know where you're going, right? You have to know, okay, this is how much I've gotten done. These are the relevant things, and you can reassess, retweak, and everything. But don't spend too much time on that, because a lot of people get trapped in that, looking back at the past and saying, well, I should have done this and I could have done that, and da, 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 and they stop action. They just stop doing. So that's very important. Keep I don't want to say a timer, but keep a very hard pressed thumb on examining your past actions in order to fix what you're going to do now.
Well, it's pretty much like every day you kind of say, okay, so let's say, for instance, the goal is to talk to 10 people, and you know that you have to pick up the phone and call 20 people. And let's say you only picked up the phone and called 5 people. And then you have to ask the question, well, what got into the way of me not getting to the other 15 people? And then you need to say, okay, well, what do I need to do? What do I need to change around? Because sometimes it's family, sometimes it's electricity goes. So it all depends on if it's within your scope of ability to change, or is it beyond your ability to change. So therefore you have to readjust your goal and your buffer, that kind of thing. And the thing is, when you get to doing your dozen tasks repeatedly with habit, with success, that is when you accelerate.
Yes.
Very important, because this will keep you in the movement towards your how to win at whatever it is that you set your goal for. It will help you into adding when you need to add new disciplines, and not before you add the discipline when you don't need it. All right. And it also, very importantly, you need to keep yourself motivated. And that's why we talk about writing the progress. Because when you start to feel a little down that you're not getting what you want, or what you thought you could have by now, meaning 3 months later, you look back and look at your progress and realize, oh, it really wasn't that bad, So therefore you start to motivate yourself to figure out, okay, what do I need to fix? What do I need to add? What do I need to throw out in order to get better faster? And therefore, and when you get to your first level, and then yes, you need to set benchmarks as you go along. So when you reach your first benchmark, then you say, okay, at this benchmark, I can accelerate and do 3 more things. Right? And that's what keeps you motivated. Right? And the one thing also that, well, this is kind of not, but it's the fundamental core mindset, is that you need to stop complaining. Anybody who wants progress, you cannot complain. Don't look to blame anything on anybody. Just do it.
Yes. I will agree.
Excellent. Right. So, so creating habits is not that difficult. It's really all to do with how much do you want the big, how you call it? What's the word I used earlier? The big magnanimous goal that you have.
Yes.
Okay, so if the goal is big and magnanimous, you need to put the time frame in it and say, okay, that's my 5-year goal. And 5 years isn't all that much far away. Okay, because Hillary is now 4 years married, and number 50 years coming soon. So, 5 years is not that far. It's not that far. So be realistic, and if the goal is huge, make it into a 5-year plan and work backwards. Okay. And so therefore, and hopefully by the time you reach year 3, if you are doing the right habits and getting into profitability, and then you should be accelerating by year 3. By year 3, you might actually achieve your year 5 goal. But the big thing is you cannot put yourself into stress and worry, which is why it's important to do what Greg McCowen talks about keeping yourself with a buffer so that you're not living in anxiety.
Yes. Because if you're living in anxiety, you're not gonna get to that mindset where you can actually do something. You're worrying is one of the biggest things that stop people from action. It's I guess it's the number one thing that will stop people from acting. They're worrying about this, they're anxious about this, and what will help them get out of that anxiety is actually doing something, but you're too worried to even do anything. You know, it's like the days when you know you were depressed and you went and you bought a bucket of ice cream and you just sat down and you ate a bucket of ice cream. That didn't help a thing.
It helped the fat cells, made them get company.
Company. You know.
Yes.
So
All
I know
right.
we have, if there's any questions out there, or any last minute words, Bernie, you'd like to share. I know we've got a couple of viewers, so I don't know if they had any questions. You could just type it into the box. But if not, that's all right. Bernie, last words?
Last words. I think it's a great journey. Having an idea and going after it. I just think it's exciting. And people should do more of it. And it'll be great to see more people going after the goals that they want so that there's less, how you call it, there's less anger. I just find there's just so much anger out there. And it's all because people are not getting what they want. And people are not getting what they want because they're not focusing on their habits that they need to be in, they need to be doing every day in order to get into profitability. And your profitability could be just losing 5 pounds in a month. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what it is that you're focused on. And so get yourself into profit, feel happy about whatever your profit is, and work towards that goal, and compound effect will actually happen for you.
Thank you very much. Well,
I think we did.
yes.
It's a wrap. We're done.
That's a wrap.
Yes.
This has been Marketing Moms Trinidad, Hillary De Freitas, Bernadette Chinley. We are out. See you next week, same time, same channel.
Bye now.